You're listening to Three Kitchens Podcast, a member of the Alberta Podcast Network. Locally grown, community supported. Now it's time to get cooking.
With Pod Power, our sponsors are making it possible for us to amplify the voices of Albertans and Alberta podcasters. This episode, Edmonton Community Foundation is helping us give a Pod Power shout out to CJSR Presents High Level Hip Hop.
It's a deep dive into Edmonton's hip hop scene and the artists helping shape it. The show takes a unique approach to introducing listeners to the OGs and young bloods of Edmonton's hip hop scene. The show is aimed at those who love local music but might not have had a chance to fall in love with the city's surprisingly diverse hip-hop scene.
Each episode features an interview with a local artist, plus a fresh track they recorded at CJSR. Check out episodes with Arlo Maverick, Please Be Nice, and more throughout the season. High Level Hip Hop is produced by CJSR, Edmonton's campus and community radio station. Download it wherever you find podcasts and at highlevelhiphop.transistor.fm. Welcome to Three Kitchens. We say this every time. You know what you're listening to. You know you're on Three Kitchens. But we say it anyways. Welcome to Three Kitchens. I am Heather. I'm here with Erin and Sarah. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
And we're going to do another recipe. We are back at it and we're having, all the food because we've missed this.
Hey, Heather, I noticed on your social media that you went to YYC Milk recently again.
I did.
The ice cream store.
Well, it's just down the street from me and I can't really, and my kids love it so much. And they're always like, can we go to Milk? Can we go to Milk? And I'm like, well, why would I say no?
Right. We've talked about this place before, but they've got like such interesting flavors. So which one did you get this time?
I had a sorbet that was called chamango. And I wish I had a better description. Maybe it's on their website. It's a mango sorbet with like this salty chili sort of sauce in it.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Was it drizzled on or was it actually integrated into the ice cream?
It was like in swirled. It, but almost like a
swirl?
Like a thread that ran. I don't even know how they make this stuff.
Did you have some too, Erin?
I made it over to Milk too.
Oh, yay.
But I did not take any pictures.
Right. And what did you have? The same one?
I did not go for the chamango. I went for the tea. They had a tea flavored one. Again, Heather, maybe we should just look this up.
Milk tea.
Okay, maybe? I'm on there right now. I will tell you.
So.
Chamango sorbet is a mango sorbet layered with chamoy sauce, which is a sweet, salty, tangy with a hint of spice.
Yum.
Slightly spicy. I wouldn't say you'd notice spice off the top.
Was it good?
You'd notice salty, which was a really good compliment to the mango. Oh, I loved it. And one of my kids had it and loved it too. So good.
And what was the one that Erin had?
I had the milk tea.
Oh, here it is. It is stronger than Yo Average. This milk tea is hella steeped to bring out its deep and aromatic flavor. It's creamy and not overly sweet. Even your grandma would approve. That's the description.
So I love a strong tea. So this was fantastic. Really tasty. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool how they have like all these different flavors, eh? Like, I mean, all the stores, like everything's like so unique now. So many variations. Yeah. But do you want to hear a little bit of a history of ice cream?
Oh, yes.
Oh, please teach me.
I wondered why she was bringing up ice cream.
I had to. So we were in the car and the kids were a little angsty. And so I turned on this podcast called Gastropod, and they were talking about ice cream. And I thought they would be interested in this particular episode. It would keep them quiet. It did not, but I listened. And this was the interesting part about ice cream and the history of ice cream. So there was an Italian scholar, a man named, I didn't realize that I had to pronounce an Italian name now. Let's go Porta. His name is something Porta. Giambattista della Porta.
Okay, if it's long enough ago, you just use initials, remember?
GDP. Mr. GDP.
GD Porta?
Porta.
porta.
It's probably like porta.
Porta. Let's go with that.
So he started playing around with like cream and salt, and he realized that when you add salt into cream, that it lowers the freezing point, and you can make this sort of ice creamy sort of substance that was delicious. And it's not like he invented it, but I think this was like this ongoing, how do we make ice cream? You know, sort of the history of what's happening in the world and how we got to this point where we're going to milk and having these amazing ice creams. So this woman starts reading about ice cream, and her name is Lady Anne Fanshawe. And she writes up this recipe that she has been sort of working on. And she makes this sort of recipe for ice cream that actually takes off. And it's flavored with mace. You guys know mace, like nutmeg. Orange flower water, which sounds delicious. And something called ambergris, which is an essential for ice cream for it to actually work. This ends up being a way to make ice cream for a long time all over the world. So to find out what ambergris is, we have to go to the high seas, and we have to meet the sperm whale. And sperm whales eat a lot of squid.
Okay.
And part of the squid is not digestible, especially the beak part. So all this squid goes into their intestines.
Okay.
And the digestible part gets digested.
Makes sense.
And the undigestible part then gets vomited out. And this substance then washes up on a beach.
Ew.
And someone decided, let's use this for ice cream. I know.
Why? Why the...
Previously to ice cream, this was used in perfumes. This was used for some sort of, I don't know why. I don't know what.
Sounds like it would stink.
Right.
Okay.
But then because it's so briny and salty, someone decided, hey, let's use this for ice cream to lower the freezing point. So I was actually looking up, she's like, okay, how do I pronounce ambergris? And of course I got sidetracked because I came across something from the Natural History Museum of UK, who describes what the smell of ambergris is. And apparently it's described as possessing a strong fecal smell.
Ooh.
And then the scent is said to be more pleasant once the mass dries out. At this stage, it is often described as musky. And in my head, I was like, who decided that a fecal smelling substance that then dries into a musky smelling substance will be used for perfume and ice cream?
Yeah. Ugh.
Isn't that the oddest thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, very aware. Ever wonder what that musky substance is, that smell is in your perfume? Maybe it's ambergris.
It's musk.
Whale puke.
Ew. Wow. We should get the milk ladies
Yes, we should.
who make the ice cream
Tell us about this stuff.
come on the show and tell us
they
how
do
you
this.
make ice cream today.
So I've made ice cream at home. I have one of those ice cream making balls. Have you ever done this
What?
before?
No. I
Okay,
wanna
so
hear
you can make
this.
ice cream like using Ziploc bags or coffee cans. I have
Or
a
machine that
I have a
plugs in, I
fancy
know.
ball that you do
Okay.
it with, but what you do is in an interior compartment,
Mhm.
you put your cream, your sugar, your flavor, and then you seal it up. And then
Okay.
on the other side of the ball, there's a compartment that you put in ice and salt. Then you kick or shake this ball, or
Kick?
again, yeah, you've got it's a
She's
ball.
outside kicking a ball in the field, and they're like, "What are you
Yes,
doing,
this is
Erin?"
what we
"I'm
do.
making
We're
ice
Making
cream."
ice cream.
It actually is really fun to bounce up
That
and down
is-
on the trampoline with us.
Oh.
We do a lot of crazy things. Hi, we're
Hi.
crazy.
Hi, Erin.
And so you can do this with like 2 Ziploc bags. The interior Ziploc bag has your ingredients. The outside has your salt and ice. You have to keep the cream constantly moving.
Oh, okay.
The ball this happens. And so what I do is after we make the ice cream, like it is super cold. It's amazing. And so once I scrape everything out, because it's never super evenly mixed, because kicking this hard ball around full of
Yeah.
ice cream and ice is really uncomfortable. You can't really kick it that hard. It's more
No.
like moving it around with your
Right,
foot.
right.
And so once I scrape it out, I put it in my stand mixer. I turn that on and then I'll add flavor then. And then I put it
Okay.
into my freezer and then I can scoop it out.
So
Oh.
who bought you this ball? Like, oh,
She
you
bought it
did.
herself.
Bought it
Bought it
yourself.
myself.
But why didn't you just go get an ice cream maker?
Yeah, that you plug in the wall and it churns away.
Because it's too easy, Erin?
Because it would have to
Erin?
sit on my counter and I don't have the counter space for
But not
it.
for
Wait,
long.
where does this ball go?
On the trampoline.
It lives in my fridge. Listen, my kids like to do experiments. I am on board with the crazy crap
All
that
right,
we
all right.
do.
I had to give you a hard time, sorry.
And if any listeners want to know how to make it without dairy, we did that in the past
Yes,
episode.
that's right.
With some success and some not.
And there were
Ding
no
dong.
whale guts in it.
No animal products at all that I remember. I think it was all vegan. It was
Nice.
tasty. I should make
was
that
so
again.
tasty.
I would like to enjoy that again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was really good.
I'm too busy bouncing my ball on the trampoline. I'll get
Hey,
back
maybe you
to
could
you
make
later,
this.
ladies.
You could probably make that non-dairy stuff in there too.
Probably, yeah. Here and
Now I'm
there.
just picturing the
Yeah, I
walkers
know.
making ice cream. on
Why
the
have we never
trampoline.
heard of this before? This is what they're
This
doing.
must
is
be
not telling
recent.
us.
Was this
Because
a
I
recent
say-
purchase?
No, we've had it for over a year.
She's
See?
been doing it secretly.
I'm just
See,
surprised.
this is the gem. This is the gem that happens when when you start talking and then I open up about something crazy I do. And then
Yeah,
you
but-
all come back and judge me.
No, we're not judging. We're just
No.
well, actually, we kind of are, but
Yeah.
Actually, you
not
kind of
new
are.
judgments. We've always known you're a little crazy,
Yeah.
and that you insist on doing things without electric appliances.
Yeah.
We know this already.
See, when the apocalypse comes, I'm going to be eating ice cream and you're going to be crying.
And you guys are not, because that's going to be the biggest problem during an apocalypse. I
Yeah.
wish I had some ice cream.
Okay. Ice cream makes everything better.
That's true.
Okay, well, let's talk about something that's not ice cream, but also very simple. Few ingredients, simple to make.
Do you
I'm
need a
going to
bowl for it?
suggest no, not a ball. You're going to need some sort of appliance. I am going to make gazpacho.
Ooh.
Gazpacho is it kind of straddles the line between a drink and a soup.
Mm-hmm.
It's cold, raw vegetables blended together and chilled, and that's it. So it's very simple. But it's the time of year to make this sort of thing because the base of it is tomatoes, and it's tomato season here.
Oh, is it ever?
Yes, and instead of just eating them by the handful, as I've been doing with all my cherry tomatoes, and I have some slightly bigger ones, but what I've been reading, there's so many conflicting things about gazpacho. But
Ooh,
generally, the consensus is the smaller, sweeter tomatoes are going to be better than like your beef steak or
Okay.
big
Okay.
tomatoes. So you've got tomatoes, cucumber, garlic, and a pepper called a cubanelle pepper.
A cubanelle pepper. Can I
I
look
never
this
heard of
up?
it.
I just want to see what
here
it even
comes
looks
the
like.
Google.
Yeah, it's a long green. Sarah just showed us a picture of a cubanelle. It's a long, skinny green. Looks a bit like a jalapeno, but
Looks like it turns. You can use the red ones too
Oh.
when it turns red. Mm.
okay.
Ooh,
It's the size of like your palm. Yeah.
it looks like a poblano, but
Mhm.
lighter green.
Yeah.
So I did read that the alternative is an Anaheim, which
Oh,
might
okay.
be easier to find. So I just have to find the pepper.
Mhm.
I don't know how hot a cubanelle pepper is. I think it probably is not super spicy because
No, if
I
it's
don't
that
think
big.
gazpacho. I think gazpacho is
Mm-hmm.
not it's not intended to be spicy.
Right.
It's
It's
just
kind of like tomato juice.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like a tomato water juice.
And it also has sherry vinegar and olive oil, which are important components. Now, there is some argument. So I was looking at a recipe on the New York Times cooking.nytimes.com. And the comments are, this is very authentic. Lots of people saying, I'm in Spain, this is very authentic. However, as with most recipes, I think it comes down to personal preference and family tradition.
Right.
Because some of those people say, I'm from the Andalusian area, or whatever you call it, Andalusia of Spain, which is where it's originated. And we do not put bread in it. Other people say we always put bread in it.
Mm.
Oh, and like
Just-
blend it in.
Yeah, just the white of the bread, not the crust.
okay.
So you would
yeah.
take the inside of like a baguette or something, like a day, kind of slightly stale.
Right.
Soak it a little bit, not for long, I don't think. And then you put that in, which makes it creamy. And so some people say you absolutely must, and other people say, do not put bread in my gazpacho. So what the fuck? Like, I might try it both ways.
Yeah,
And
I
then we
like the
can
bread
test it.
idea.
We can see what we think.
It will like thicken it and cream it up with its glutinous properties, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
what I
and
would
other
think.
people say
So-
you don't like it's creamy enough on its own just from the vegetables and olive oil. And also the recipe called for an onion, and most of the people who have either tried it or have their own gazpacho recipe say no onion.
No
because
onion. Oh.
because it can be quite intense, a raw
Okay.
onion,
Mm-hmm.
and it can overpower the other flavors.
So this is not cooked?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So, I see. Interesting.
Raw vegetables in a blender, the vinegar and the bread, if you're doing the bread. It's all blended till it's smooth, and then you slowly drizzle in olive oil like an emulsion,
Oh,
which should be what makes it creamy. That's what
you could do this with a whisk.
Oh, good Lord.
I had to say it. I had to say it. No.
This sounds really delicious. And I mean, I've had gazpacho, how do you say gazpacho?
Gazpacho.
Gazpacho before, but it also sounds really easy.
I know, right?
I've
Like,
never
it
had this
seems-
before.
Okay.
I've had it as almost like a shot, like just like a little before a meal when
Okay.
when I
Like
was
an
in Spain.
amuse-bouche.
Yeah, many years ago. But so some people would have it like a drink, kind of like an appetizer, and then other people would put it in a small bowl and put like say chop up some of those veggies, put them on top,
Yes.
and eat it with a spoon. So I
Right.
think maybe we'll do it both ways and see what we like.
I like V8 juice. So does that count as gazpacho?
And I don't
Yeah.
like V8.
I suppose. But I mean, V8 juice has a lot of other different kinds of vegetables,
It's
like
got, like,
celery,
celery
and,
in it.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff, right?
There's a gazillion different recipes,
Right.
and some people do like it chunky, like
Right.
don't blend it quite as much, or add some chopped veggies at the end to kind of give it texture.
Yeah.
You also see it made with without tomatoes, with cucumbers and basil or something like
Yeah.
that. And I've seen watermelon gazpacho.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
all
that makes
kinds of
sense.
all kinds of. It's basically just raw vegetables, but blended and chilled. It has to be cold when you
Right.
drink or eat it.
Very nice.
So
Very
it seems
smart.
like it'll be very simple, a good way to use some of those fresh garden veggies. We'll give it a try, and we will decide if it needs bread or not.
To make this and have this so that when the kids come to us, 30 minutes before dinner, and they're like, "Oh, I'm starving. I'm so hungry."
Yeah.
Like, here,
Yeah.
have this as a little appetizer. Put it out on the table. When the kids come and complain, num num
Here,
num.
have a
it'll
glass of
satisfy them
vegetables.
Yeah.
for like a few minutes. It'll start their appetite, like you said, and then by the time they get to the dinner table,
They haven't ruined their dinner. They've just had some vegetables.
man, our kids are spoiled and they don't even know it.
They don't.
When I came and said I was hungry, my mummy would make me a little amuse-bouche of gazpacho bread.
I just wanted cookies, but I got gazpacho. This episode of Three Kitchens is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Alberta Blue Cross understands that running a small business is tough, and they understand business owners in Alberta are busy.
Let Alberta Blue Cross give you peace of mind with a group benefit plan. They offer health, dental, life, and disability coverage for your employees.
Alberta Blue Cross group benefit plans are easy to manage, anywhere, anytime, and on any device, making it easy for you and your employees to access. To learn more and explore your options, head to ab.bluecross.ca.
Welcome back. Here we are. We have eaten gazpacho.
Yes.
Delicious gazpacho.
Eaten, drank. I'm not exactly sure how you want to
Slurp.
describe it. Yeah, we slurped
Definitely slurped it.
our gazpacho, and I made it two ways for you.
Yes.
I gave you two. I had to label it though because it was really hard to tell the difference once
It was, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so My inspiration is from a recipe called Best Gazpacho from the New York Times Cooking, New York Times, nyt.com/cooking. I don't know what it is. Don't worry about it because I changed it as I made it. So you don't need to reference that unless you really love New York Times and you want to go look. So 2 pounds of tomatoes. I had a combination of cherry tomatoes and ones that I can't remember the name of that are like a medium size, kind of small-ish, but like a slicing tomato. These are things I'm growing in my garden, so that's what I collected. One large cucumber that I got at the farmer's market. It's the kind you gotta peel, not like an English cucumber, but one of those bigger, fatter cucumbers. I don't know if it has a name.
A bigger, fatter cucumber.
Yeah.
That's what
It's
you
a bigger,
call it.
fatter kind. That's all it is.
There you go.
The recipe calls for a cubanelle pepper, but
Yeah.
I could not find that. And the option, something very similar, is an Anaheim, and that's what I bought, which is pretty big. It's like bigger than the length of my hand. It's quite a large green pepper, but it's mild. So I would think any mild pepper would be fine in this. I used one of those, about 4 cloves of garlic. I used the whole bulb I pulled it out of my garden and used it fresh, but mine grow pretty small. So
Okay.
I would say that's kind of to taste. If you
Right.
like garlicky, which we do, use a little more. If you're not so big a fan of garlic, maybe use a little less.
Right.
Then the recipe called for 2 teaspoons of sherry vinegar. I couldn't find sherry vinegar. I don't know why. That was not in the grocery store. So I used apple cider vinegar. I think use whatever vinegar you like. Listen, this is the MacGyver talking. And about half a cup of olive oil, I believe.
Did you put the skins in of the tomatoes, or were they?
I did core and take out the majority of the seeds from the larger tomato that I had, and the cherry tomatoes just went in as they were.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the pepper as well. Chop the stem bit, take out the seeds in the membrane, rough chop it. So I put all of that, the whole recipe, in my blender. I think I had to do it in like 2 batches because my blender was like,
Okay.
this is like hard to do. But once it got going, it blended fairly smooth.
Okay.
Then, as I said in the first half, some people in the comment, I really looked at the comments because people,
Oh, yes.
I love when they'll say, oh, this is totally authentic to I grew up in that area and it's really authentic. And then the next person says, I grew up in that area and we change it this way. And I'm like, I don't know what's exactly authentic. I think it depends what you like.
Right.
Some people said they include bread,
Yes.
not the crust, but the white part inside the bread. So I had a loaf of French bread and I took a couple of slices, pulled out just the bread from the inside, and I sprinkled the vinegar instead of adding, because I like a little extra vinegar anyways, the vinegar on the bread. So the half of it, when I split it in half, then I kept half of it in the blender. I threw the bread in.
Yeah.
That had been soaked in a little bit of vinegar. It's not totally soaked because it's only a little bit of vinegar, like a teaspoon or whatever. And I blended that one again with the bread. I hope this is making sense. I feel like I'm all over the place.
No, that makes sense.
I'm following you.
Okay, so then that was it. That's all you do with it. You just and then you chill it. You want it to be cold when you serve it.
Okay.
And you can put toppings on, like chop up a few more of your tomatoes and cucumbers, drizzle some olive oil on top, sprinkle with salt or pepper if you like. I even had, when I had it, I even sprinkled a little bit of the juice from my salted lemon jar on top.
The zhuzh it up.
Zhuzh it up. And that was really tasty. I have to say, I should have just right from the start, but I'd already delivered to you and everything. And it was like later and I thought, whatever, you guys can, I'm sure you'll figure that out.
I think we'll be making it again. So it's, good to know.
I'd love to hear what you thought and if you had a preference between bread or no bread.
Yeah.
She did.
I did.
Go for it.
Okay. I definitely, there was one that I liked way better than the other, which I found it interesting that the only difference was the bread. I wasn't a fan of the one with the bread. I liked just the vegetables. I don't know, it was cleaner tasting or something. Like it was fresher. It just felt, I don't know, it was the much better one. Although I did like taking, because you packed a piece of bread. I tore that bread up and I dipped it into the gazpacho.
Sarah, how about you?
Same, same. I wouldn't say it wasn't my favorite. Like they both tasted great. I preferred the cleaner, just the vegetables in there. And same, it was nice to sort of dip your bread in.
I felt like the one with the bread had an aftertaste that I was like,
Aftertaste.
Oh,
I
interesting.
I really noticed a difference, because they looked almost the same. And I was like, oh, this is fun.
But here was the exciting thing is I gave some to my kids and they loved it. And I'm like, yes, this is like vitamin C in a little cup. Like
Yes.
It's like
so,
a salad in a
yeah. Oh, it was so yummy. Such a great summer, warm weather appetizer or
Yeah, I don't think you'd
snack.
want a huge bowl of it.
No.
I think that acidity in the tomato would be too much if you
Yes.
had a big bowl. But for a little cup and like really cold, I thought like it hit the spot.
Yeah.
So good. I actually preferred the one with bread.
You did? Okay.
I'm the weird one.
Oh, wow. I love this.
I
This is my
didn't think
favorite
there was a
part.
huge difference. Like to hear Erin say she thought they were vastly different. I'm like, really?
I really did. I thought they were very different.
I didn't think they were crazy different. You could tell the difference for sure. I liked that little bit thicker, creamier
Right.
aspect to the one with the bread, which is the point. That's what people said is if you wanted a bit sort of creamy and thicker, more substantial, add the bread.
Yeah.
And I guess I liked it that way.
Yeah. No, they were both good. I don't think I would have passed on either of them, but I think I was expecting that very clean, light flavor. So that was my preference without the bread.
Yeah, my kids tried it too. So it was a win all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids liked it too.
Yeah.
It's super easy. And especially if you've got some veggies that you need to use up, like sometimes the tomatoes, like it's okay if the tomatoes are starting to look a little wrinkly, you know, on the outside, just it's going to be all blended up anyways, right? Not that you want mushy tomatoes or anything, but
No, but
you need to use them up.
hit them at their optimal ripeness.
Right. How long does this last in the fridge? Did they say? I mean, ours was done really quickly, but
I know. It was eaten up real quick. I think about a week, maybe 4 or 5 days, like,
right.
and then like Erin had said before, have some in your fridge and just like pour it out before dinner or when the kids are like, I'm hungry before supper.
That's what we did, is we did it as a little like, let's get our appetite started. Right?
Yeah, I can see why it's like a sort of a traditional appetizer type of thing. The olive oil is really important. A few of the comments said that you need to be able to taste it. It needs to be like quality. You should actually taste olive. I don't know that I can't even remember what brand I've got at the moment. I don't know that mine was like that. I think you could probably have a better quality olive oil and you'd maybe taste the difference.
Or maybe even one of those like flavored olive oils might be yummy in there too, to kind of like,
And drizzle it on top at the end.
yeah.
I did like the salted lemon on there. It was really gave it a little kick.
Well, it just makes everything better. So
It does. It just does.
let's be honest.
And the pepper is so mild. I wanted a little, I would have liked a little heat maybe.
But it sounds like you
bit.
can basically put anything in here and make it to your liking, right? It's obviously.
Yeah, I think you could. And there's tons of different recipes with different variations on the veggies or fruit or whatever you like.
Oh, with fruit too.
Like a watermelon, strawberry,
right. Yeah.
gazpacho, cucumber, basil.
I have watermelon and strawberries in my house right now.
I think the kids would love that. It's a bit more like a smoothie, maybe less like a gazpacho, but
That just sounds like, a delicious
So, but is the
smoothie.
watermelon strawberry, is that traditional or is that just like a take on like a one?
I think it's probably a take on it, but I'm not sure.
That's cool.
I think traditional is it's a tomato base. There you go. Easy. Not Sarah simple, Heather simple, which means it is actually really, really simple.
I just said
Anything
I liked
goes.
your food. Why do you have to like throw me?
I'm just teasing.
Why'd you have to play me like that?
Anyway, that was quick. That was a quick one. So everybody go make some gazpacho, blend it up. You could probably do it in smaller. If you don't have 2 pounds of tomatoes, just use what you got. Doesn't matter really the ratio.
Thanks for our vitamin C shot.
Yeah, you're welcome. And now for the fine print. Join us over on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, and on our website at threekitchenspodcast.com. And remember, when you like, follow, subscribe, and review, it helps more people find us. Thank you so much for listening.
It's like a salad smoothie.